Another year is ending. And if you're honest with yourself, you know exactly what didn't change this year. The habits you swore you'd break, the person you promised you'd become, the life you said you'd finally start living. But here you are. Same patterns, same struggles, same excuses. 2026 doesn't have to be a repeat. What if I told you that the secret to transforming your life was discovered over 2,000 years ago? That emperors facing war, philosophers in exile, and slaves who became teachers all used the same principles to become unshakable. This isn't motivation that fades by February. This is a complete blueprint for transformation. Transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you actually are beneath all the conditioning, fear, and noise. The Stoics understood this completely. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they didn't just theorize about change, they lived it in the harshest conditions imaginable. And today, you're going to learn exactly how they did it. 12 strategies, 12 practices, 12 ways to ensure that 2026 is the year everything changes. But first, if you're serious about transformation, smash that subscribe button. Help us build this community of people who refuse to stay stuck. People seeking real wisdom for real change. Now let's begin your transformation. Strategy 1. Master what you can control. You're exhausted from trying to control everything. The economy, other people's opinions, the past, the future. Your anxiety about things that haven't happened yet. You're spending all your energy on things completely outside your power, and it's draining you. The Stoic truth Epictetus divided reality into two categories: what's in your control and what isn't. And here's the radical part: almost nothing is in your control except your thoughts, actions, and responses. Traffic? Not in your control. How you react to traffic? Completely in your control. Someone disrespecting you? Not in your control. How you choose to respond? Entirely yours. The weather, the economy, other people's behavior, yesterday, tomorrow, all outside your control. Your effort, your attitude, your integrity, your focus, all within your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The transformation. When you stop wasting energy on what you can't control, you reclaim massive power for what you can. Imagine directing all that mental energy, all that worry, all that frustration toward the few things you actually influence. Your transformation begins here, with this distinction. Real-life application. Sarah spent years stressed about her company's direction. She'd complain to colleagues, lose sleep over management decisions, resent the choices being made. None of it changed anything, because she had no control over those decisions. Then she learned the Stoic dichotomy of control. She asked herself, what can I actually control here? Her answer, her work quality, her attitude, her professional development, whether she stayed at the company or pursued other opportunities. She stopped worrying about what management did, started focusing on becoming so skilled she'd have options anywhere. Within 6 months, her stress dropped dramatically. Within a year, she was offered a position at another company with better alignment to her values. The circumstances didn't change until she changed her focus. The practice. For the next week, every time you feel stressed or frustrated, ask yourself, is this in my control? If yes, take action. If no, let it go. This simple question will transform your relationship with stress. Strategy 2. Turn obstacles into opportunities. You see obstacles as barriers to your success. Every setback feels like proof that you're not meant to succeed. Every challenge becomes evidence that life is against you, so you avoid difficulty. You take the easy path, you stay comfortable, and you wonder why nothing changes. The Stoic truth Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. This is one of the most powerful insights in all of philosophy. Obstacles aren't just inevitable, they're necessary. They're the raw material of growth. The challenge you're facing right now, that's not blocking your path. That is your path. The transformation. When you shift from seeing obstacles as problems to seeing them as opportunities, everything changes. Rejection becomes feedback, failure becomes education, difficulty becomes training. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You're someone who uses circumstances to grow stronger. Real-life application. James lost his job in a company restructuring. Devastating. 20 years of loyalty, gone in a meeting. He could have become bitter, could have blamed the company, the economy, his age. Instead, he asked, what opportunity is hidden in this obstacle? He realized he'd stayed in a role he'd outgrown years ago, out of comfort, out of fear of change. The layoff forced the change he'd been avoiding. He took 3 months to reassess his skills and passions, then launched a consulting practice helping companies with the exact issues his old employer faced. Within 2 years, he was earning more than his previous salary with complete schedule control. The obstacle became the opportunity, but only because he chose to see it that way. The practice. Write down your biggest current obstacle. Then complete this sentence. This obstacle is teaching me. Find 3 lessons, 3 opportunities, 3 ways this challenge is actually preparing you for something better. This reframe doesn't deny the difficulty, it mines it for value. Strategy 3. Live in the present moment. You're living everywhere except right now, replaying yesterday's mistakes, rehearsing tomorrow's anxieties, scrolling through other people's highlights, planning conversations that haven't happened. Meanwhile, your actual life, the only one that exists, is happening in this moment, and you're missing it. The Stoic truth, Marcus Aurelius wrote, confine yourself to the present. Not because the past and future don't matter, but because they don't exist except as thoughts in your head right now. The past is memory, the future is imagination. Both are happening in the present moment as mental activity. The only place you can take action, experience joy, make change, or find peace is here, now. Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. The transformation. When you anchor yourself in the present, anxiety about the future dissolves, regret about the past loses its grip. You're not escaping reality, you're finally experiencing it, and in that presence you find clarity, peace, the ability to respond wisely instead of reacting unconsciously. Real-life application. Michael was drowning in anxiety. His mind constantly raced with what-ifs and should-haves. During meals, he was thinking about work. During work, he was thinking about personal problems. During conversations, he was mentally planning what to say next. He was never actually where he was. Then he started practicing radical presence, one task at a time, one moment at a time. When eating, just eating. When working, just working. When listening, actually listening instead of preparing his response. It was hard at first. His mind kept pulling him away, but gradually the anxiety lessened. He found enjoyment in simple things he'd been too distracted to notice. His work improved because he gave it full attention. His relationships deepened because he was actually present. The transformation wasn't about changing his circumstances, it was about being fully in them. The practice. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Focus entirely on your breath. When your mind wanders to past or future, gently return to the breath. This is training. You're building the muscle of presence. Do this daily. Then extend the practice to daily activities. Fully present while eating, while walking, while talking to someone. Presence is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Strategy 4. Build unshakable self-discipline. You know what you should do, but you don't do it. You set goals, make plans, feel motivated. Then when it's time to act, you choose comfort, entertainment, distraction, the easy option. And you wonder why you're not where you want to be. The Stoic truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Self-discipline isn't about willpower, it's about clarity. When you're absolutely clear on your values and goals, decisions become easier. The choice between what's easy and what's right becomes obvious. Self-discipline is choosing your values over your impulses, your long-term vision over your short-term comfort. The transformation. Self-discipline isn't restrictive, it's liberating. Every time you choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you build trust with yourself. You prove you're someone who does what they say, and that trust compounds. It becomes identity. You become someone who follows through, someone who can be counted on, especially by yourself. Real-life application. Elena wanted to write a book, had wanted to for years, but every evening after work she was too tired. Every weekend she had too much to do. The book remained an idea, a someday dream. Then she made one commitment. Write 500 words every morning before anything else, non-negotiable. Some mornings she didn't feel like it. Some mornings the words felt terrible. Some mornings she questioned whether the book mattered. But she wrote anyway. 6 months later, she had a complete first draft. Not because she felt like it every day, because she'd made a commitment and honored it regardless of feelings. The book was the result. The real transformation was becoming someone who keeps commitments to herself. The practice. Choose one small commitment for 30 days, something achievable but meaningful. 10 minutes of meditation, a daily walk, reading 10 pages, writing 200 words, no social media before noon. Do it every single day, regardless of how you feel. You're not just building a habit, you're building character, trust, identity, strategy. 5. Develop emotional resilience. Your emotions control you instead of you controlling them. Someone criticizes you and you're devastated for days. Something doesn't go as planned and you spiral into anxiety. You feel angry and you act on it immediately. You're at the mercy of every emotional wave. The Stoic truth Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Emotions are natural. They're information, signals about how we're interpreting events. But they're not commands. You don't have to obey every emotional impulse. The Stoics practiced emotional resilience, the ability to feel emotions without being controlled by them. The transformation. When you develop emotional resilience, you maintain your center regardless of circumstances. You can feel angry without acting on anger, feel afraid without being paralyzed by fear, feel disappointed without collapsing into despair. You're not suppressing emotions. You're gaining space between stimulus and response. And in that space, you have choice. Real-life application. David had a terrible temper. When frustrated, he'd explode, say things he regretted, damage relationships. Afterward, he'd apologize, promise to change, mean it sincerely. Then something would frustrate him, and the cycle would repeat. He learned Stoic emotional practice, pause between feeling and action. When he felt anger rising, instead of immediately reacting, he'd notice it. I'm feeling angry right now. Then he'd ask, what's triggering this? What need isn't being met? What's the wise response? This space, just seconds, changed everything. He could feel the anger without acting on it, could respond from wisdom instead of reacting from emotion. His relationships improved dramatically. Not because he stopped feeling anger, because he stopped letting anger control his actions. The practice. When you feel strong emotion this week, practice the Stoic pause. Name the emotion. I'm feeling anxious/angry/hurt. Locate it in your body. My chest is tight. My jaw is clenched. Ask, what's triggering this? What do I actually need right now? Choose your response based on your values, not your impulse. This creates space, and in that space, transformation happens. Strategy 6. Living on borrowed time. You're living as if you have infinite time, putting off what matters, tolerating what doesn't, avoiding difficult conversations, delaying your dreams. Meanwhile, time passes, and you're no closer to the life you want. The Stoic truth, memento mori, remember you will die. This isn't morbid. It's the most motivating truth you can internalize. Your time is finite, precious, limited. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." When you truly grasp your mortality, trivial concerns fall away. Priorities become crystal clear. Courage becomes easier. The transformation. When you live with awareness of death, you live with urgency and intention. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop postponing what matters. Stop caring about petty grievances. You say what needs to be said. Love openly. Take meaningful risks. Live authentically. Not because you're afraid of death, because you're in love with the limited time you have. Real-life application. After his father's sudden death, Thomas realized he'd been living on autopilot, working a job he tolerated, maintaining relationships out of obligation, avoiding anything that felt risky or uncomfortable. His father's death was a violent reminder: time runs out. Thomas quit the job that was slowly killing his spirit, reached out to people he'd lost touch with, started the business he'd been planning for 5 years. Not recklessly, thoughtfully, but with urgency. He stopped waiting for someday, because he finally understood that someday might never come. The practice. Each morning this week, remind yourself, I have limited time. This could be my last day. Then ask, if this were my last day, would I spend it as I'm planning to? What would I do differently? This isn't about living in fear. It's about living with clarity. Strategy 7. Practice daily gratitude. You focus on what's missing instead of what's present. The promotion you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunities that passed you by. This focus on lack breeds dissatisfaction, resentment, and perpetual unhappiness. The Stoic truth, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude isn't just positive thinking, it's accurate thinking. You have so much right now that you're taking for granted. Health, abilities, relationships, opportunities. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The transformation. When you practice gratitude, your relationship with life transforms. You're no longer focused on what you lack. You're appreciating what you have. This isn't about settling for less. It's about building from abundance instead of scarcity. Gratitude creates a positive foundation from which growth becomes natural, not desperate. Real-life application. Amanda was perpetually dissatisfied. Better job, better apartment, better relationship. Nothing was ever enough. She achieved goals and immediately set new ones without pausing to appreciate what she'd accomplished. Then she started a daily gratitude practice. Every evening, 3 things she was grateful for that day. At first it felt forced, artificial, but gradually her perspective shifted. She started noticing small beauties she'd overlooked, moments of connection, things working well in her life. Her ambition didn't disappear, but it became healthier. She was building upward from gratitude instead of running from inadequacy. The external circumstances hadn't changed. Her experience of them had transformed completely. The practice. Every evening for 30 days, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Be specific. I'm grateful for my health is okay. I'm grateful my body carried me through a full day without pain is better. This rewires your brain to notice the good that's already present while you're working toward more. Strategy 8. Focus on personal excellence, not external validation. You're measuring your worth by external metrics, likes, followers, salary, titles, what people think of you. So your self-esteem fluctuates wildly based on factors outside your control. You're on an emotional roller coaster that never stops. The Stoic truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Personal excellence isn't about being better than others, it's about being better than you were yesterday. It's about living according to your values regardless of recognition or reward. Epictetus taught that our character is the only thing truly ours. Everything else can be taken away. The transformation. When you focus on personal excellence instead of external validation, you become unshakable. Your worth isn't determined by likes, promotions, or others' opinions. It's determined by whether you're living with integrity and growing consistently. This doesn't mean you don't care about results. It means results don't define you. Real-life application. Marcus was addicted to social media validation. Every post was calculated for maximum likes. His mood depended on engagement metrics. When a post underperformed, he felt worthless. When one went viral, he felt euphoric. He was on an exhausting emotional roller coaster controlled by strangers' thumbs. Then he shifted his focus to personal standards. Am I creating value? Am I learning? Am I improving my craft? He stopped checking metrics obsessively, started focusing on the quality of his work and the depth of his learning. Ironically, when he stopped chasing validation, his work improved, and the validation followed. But more importantly, his sense of worth stabilized. It was based on his effort and integrity, not on external approval. The practice. Define 3 personal standards you want to embody in 2026. Not outcomes, character qualities, examples. I show up consistently. I treat people with respect. I do quality work regardless of who's watching. Each evening, evaluate yourself against these standards, not harshly, honestly. Build your self-worth on living by your values, not achieving specific outcomes. Strategy. 9. Stop caring what others think. You're living for an imaginary audience, making decisions based on what others might think. Avoiding actions because someone might judge you. Presenting a carefully curated version of yourself to maintain approval. You're exhausted from performing, and you've lost touch with who you actually are. The Stoic truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Other people's opinions of you are none of your business, and they're completely outside your control. Epictetus taught that worrying about others' judgments is wasted energy. They're going to think what they think regardless of what you do. The transformation. When you stop living for others' approval, you reclaim your life. You make decisions aligned with your values, not others' expectations. You speak authentically instead of carefully. You take risks you've been avoiding out of fear of judgment. This doesn't mean you become rude or inconsiderate. It means you stop contorting yourself to gain approval from people who don't truly matter to you. Real-life application. Rachel wanted to start a business, but was terrified of what her corporate colleagues would think. What if it fails? They'll think I'm foolish. What if people don't understand? They'll judge me. She was trapped by imaginary opinions about hypothetical futures. Then she realized these people weren't living her life. She was. and their opinions, whether positive or negative, didn't change her daily reality. She started the business. Some people were skeptical, some were supportive. Most didn't care much either way because they were focused on their own lives. The judgment she'd feared was mostly in her head, and even when it was real, it didn't matter as much as she'd imagined. She was living her life according to her values. That was what mattered. The practice. This week, do one thing you've been avoiding because of what others might think. Share an authentic opinion. Start that project. Have that difficult conversation. Wear what makes you happy. Notice that the judgment you feared either doesn't materialize or doesn't impact you as deeply as you imagined. You're not being reckless. You're being authentic, and that's transformative. Strategy 10. Embrace change as life's natural rhythm. You're resisting change, clinging to what was, afraid of what's coming, so you stay stuck in jobs you've outgrown, in relationships that no longer serve you, in versions of yourself that are no longer accurate. The Stoic truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." Change isn't the enemy, it's the nature of reality. Everything is in flux. Seasons change, people grow, circumstances shift. Resisting this is like standing in a river and demanding the water stop flowing. The transformation. When you embrace change instead of resisting it, you flow with life instead of fighting it. You see endings as necessary for new beginnings. You see transitions as opportunities for growth. You adapt instead of breaking. This doesn't mean you don't have preferences. It means you don't suffer unnecessarily when reality doesn't match those preferences. Real-life application. When Jennifer's company restructured, eliminating her department, she was devastated. She'd built her identity around that role, that title, that team. Initially, she resisted, blamed the company, felt victimized by the change. Then she shifted. What if this change, despite feeling terrible, was actually opening a door? She used the severance to take a 3-month sabbatical, something she'd never have done otherwise, traveled, reassessed her career path, realized she'd been on autopilot for years. She returned to the job market with clarity about what she actually wanted, found a role that aligned much better with her evolved values. The change she'd resisted became the catalyst for the transformation she needed. The practice. Identify one area of your life where you're resisting change. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? What opportunity might this change be creating? Write down 3 possible positive outcomes if you accepted this change instead of fighting it. You're not forcing positivity. You're expanding your perspective. Strategy. 11. Practice compassion and empathy. You're so focused on your own struggles that you've forgotten everyone else is struggling too. You judge harshly, react defensively, assume the worst about others' intentions. This creates isolation, conflict, a hardened heart that makes transformation difficult. The Stoic truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil." This isn't cynicism, it's preparation for compassion. Everyone is doing their best with their current level of awareness. Their behavior makes sense from their perspective. This doesn't mean accepting harmful behavior. It means understanding it so you can respond wisely instead of reactively. The transformation. When you practice compassion and empathy, your relationships transform. You listen more deeply, judge less quickly, respond with understanding instead of defensiveness. This doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise, and it creates the connection human beings need to thrive. Real-life application. Nathan had a difficult colleague who was constantly critical and negative. Initially, Nathan took it personally. got defensive, avoided the colleague when possible. Then he learned the colleague's backstory: recent divorce, financial stress, health issues with a parent. The behavior didn't change, but Nathan's interpretation did. Instead of seeing attacks, he saw someone in pain. Instead of reacting defensively, he responded with patience. The relationship didn't become perfect, but it became workable. And Nathan's stress about it dissolved. The transformation wasn't in the colleague. It was in Nathan's capacity for understanding. The practice. When someone frustrates you this week, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, what pain might be driving this behavior? What don't I know about their situation? You're not excusing harmful behavior. You're choosing understanding over judgment, and that choice transforms you. Strategy. 12. Reflect and review regularly. You're moving through life on autopilot, repeating patterns without examining them, making the same mistakes without learning from them, losing touch with your values because you never pause to reconnect. The Stoic truth, Marcus Aurelius kept a journal, what we now know as meditations, not for publication, for self-examination. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Regular reflection ensures your thoughts, and therefore your life, align with your values." Seneca recommended daily self-assessment. Epictetus encouraged his students to review their actions each evening. This practice isn't about self-criticism, it's about self-awareness, growth, course correction. The transformation. When you reflect regularly, you stop repeating unconscious patterns. You notice what's working and what isn't. You identify where you're living according to your values and where you're drifting. This awareness creates the possibility for change. You can't fix what you don't see. Real-life application. Derek felt like he was moving through life reactively. Days blurred together. Months passed without meaningful progress toward his goals. He started a 5-minute evening practice. 3 questions. What went well today? What could I have done better? What's one thing I'll do differently tomorrow? This simple reflection transformed his awareness. He noticed he was most productive in mornings, but scheduling important work for afternoons. He realized he was avoiding difficult conversations, letting small issues become big problems. He saw patterns in his reactions that he'd never noticed. With awareness came change, small adjustments that compounded into significant transformation. The practice. For the next 30 days, spend 5 minutes each evening with these questions. Where did I live according to my values today? Where did I fall short? What's one thing I'll adjust tomorrow? Write your answers. This creates a record of your transformation journey. You're not judging yourself, you're studying yourself. And that study is how transformation becomes conscious instead of random. The Stoic Action Plan. Your roadmap for transformation. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Here's your practical roadmap to transform yourself in 2026. Daily practice, 15 minutes. Morning, 5 minutes. Memento mori reminder, I have limited time today. Intention setting, today I will focus on, choose one strategy. Gratitude. List 3 things you're grateful for right now. Evening, 10 minutes. Reflection journaling. Answer the 3 questions from Strategy 12. Tomorrow's intention. What's one way you'll practice your chosen strategy tomorrow? Weekly practice, 30 minutes. Sunday planning, review your 12 strategies. Choose one to emphasize this week. Set specific, measurable practices for that strategy. Identify potential obstacles and plan responses. Weekly review. What transformation did you notice this week? Which strategy had the most impact? What will you do differently next week? Monthly. Deep dive, 2 hours. First Sunday of each month. Deep reflection on all 12 strategies. Assess which you're implementing consistently, identify which need more attention, adjust your practices based on what's working. Write about the transformation you're experiencing, the physiological reset. When stress, anxiety, or overwhelming emotion hits, use this immediate intervention. The Stoic breath. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Pause for 2 counts. Repeat 3 to 5 times. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, creating physiological calm that makes wise response possible. The fear-setting exercise. From Tim Ferriss, rooted in Stoic negative visualization. When facing a decision or challenge, define what's the worst that could happen. Prevent what steps could reduce the likelihood. Repair. If the worst happened, how could you recover? This transforms vague anxiety into specific, manageable scenarios. The Daily Stoic. Check. 3 times daily, morning, midday, evening. Ask yourself, am I focusing on what I can control? Am I responding from values or reacting from emotion? Am I living in this moment or lost in past/future? Set phone reminders. This creates awareness checkpoints throughout your day. The Transformation Journal. Get a dedicated notebook. Title it 2026, New Year, New Me. Each page represents one day. Include date, one strategy you practiced, how you practiced it, what you noticed, one insight or lesson. By December 31st, 2026, you'll have 365 pages documenting your transformation. That record is priceless. Closing reflection. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It's not a single decision. It's 1,000 small choices. It's not a dramatic reinvention. It's consistent refinement. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming fully yourself. The you that's beneath the fear, the conditioning, the limiting beliefs you've accepted as truth. The Stoics understood something profound. You already have everything you need for transformation. It's not about adding more. It's about removing what's in the way. The habits that don't serve you, the beliefs that limit you, the patterns that keep you stuck. 2026 can be different, but only if you decide it will be. And then back that decision with daily action. Not perfect action, consistent action. Not someday, starting today. Your transformation doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires commitment to practice these principles regardless of conditions. Every morning is a new opportunity. Every moment is a chance to choose differently. The question isn't whether transformation is possible, it's whether you'll do what transformation requires. Will you? If your answer is yes, prove it. Take action today on one strategy, just one. Tomorrow, do it again, and the day after, and the day after that. By the end of 2026, you'll look back amazed at how far you've come. Not because of one big moment, because of thousands of small choices compounded over time. That's how transformation works. That's how life works. The time is now. The choice is yours. Comment below. I transform. Those 2 words are your declaration, your commitment, your first step toward becoming who you're meant to be. If this resonated with you, subscribe so you don't miss the next step of this journey. Hit that notification bell. Share this with someone else ready for transformation. Help us build this community of people who refuse to stay stuck, who choose growth over comfort, who understand that the path to a better life begins with better daily choices. Let's make 2026 the year everything changes, not because circumstances align perfectly, because you align your actions with your values, your daily choices with your long-term vision, your temporary feelings with your permanent principles. The Stoics have given us the blueprint. 2,000 years of testing, millions of lives transformed. Now it's your turn. Stay grounded, stay consistent, stay committed to your transformation. Remember what Epictetus taught. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Don't wait any longer. Your transformation begins now.